State of play there. Let me pull up a state of play list here. So I go there. Right, this is the first one of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, we did have an Xbox show, I think, on January 27th, but this is the first PlayStation one.
Okay. Um, so the trailers you sent me, that's the only games you're interested in talking about there.
Yeah,
You,
I sent you everything I thought looked really interesting. There's definitely a few other things in there that, absolutely have their audience, but I sent you what was like my highlight reel.
okay. So let's get into this. So, our discussion news for the day is going to be for the state of play that just happened. There. So, a bunch of games got some trailers there, some launch trailers, some release date trailers. We're gonna be diving into. I know the Metal Gear Solid, Delta Snake Eater that got a release date trailer. Should be interesting to dive.
Unfortunately, it was leaked last week before
Oh,
the
they.
show, but
Oh, damn,
this
they
is where
leaked
it
it.
was supposed to be.
Yeah. I've heard people talk about that one being very much impressed by, and Omnimusha. People were very much impressed by that trailer as well. So we get into that. Here's some other ones we could. I know maybe you don't care about Monster Hunter Wilds.
It's definitely not my game, but I mean it's big for a reason, right? I mean it's definitely popular for a reason. So if you want to talk about it, we totally can.
I know I'm not really into that series that much. I don't have really much to say about that. There's Shinobi Art of Vengeance though. There is that one.
I'm
Um,
excited about that one.
So let's play this trailer, Shinobi Art of Vengeance, and let's get our thoughts on that there. Uh, all right, so I'll go ahead and pull up that trailer, and here it is, right here. All right, let's go.
So this is part of kind of an initiative that Sega is doing. They're doing a lot of resurrections of old IP, and Jet Set Radio is coming back, Golden Axe is coming back, this is coming back. They're doing a whole lot of kind of refreshed new titles and old franchises, which is awesome because for a long time I feel like Sega has been kind of just like Sonic and the Yakuza franchise, and maybe a couple other things here and there, but this is one of those kind of classic series from way back in the day that was on like the Sega Genesis, I believe, at least the first game was. But I don't know how much of a story this is going to have, but between just I think a really great kind of what looks like a hand drawn 2D art style, at least for
Yeah,
some of them, just really impressive art style and just fast paced action. I can't tell if this is more Metroidvania or if it's more just like a straight platformer that's just kind of continuously forward. But I mean, I think the gameplay of this looks great, very chaotic, very fast paced. It really kind of harkens back to some of those old side scrollers that we used to get a lot more of. And yeah, again, the art style, I think it's just beautiful.
yeah. I was gonna talk about the art style in this. It looks really good. Looks like there's some really good action sequences in this. You mentioned very kind of looks like a hand drawn type of animation that you hear. This 2D, which is also I think is very impressive. With that kind of also with it. So yeah, it seems so. You said it's kind of a thing kind of going on with Sega, with kind of doing a lot of their titles again, kind of doing redo of their titles. Um,
Yeah, so they had a trailer, which I believe was at the 2023 Game Awards, and it was like a highlight reel. It showed like I think five different games, and New Shinobi was one of them. We haven't seen it since then, so this is actually kind of a something I've been waiting for a while to see get a bigger glimpse at this game. But I believe it was Golden Axe, Shinobi, Jet Set Radio. Uh, it might have been a new Streets of Rage, and I think Crazy Taxi. So there's like five big old Sega IP that were like, back when Sega made consoles, right? Back in the old days where it was Sega and Nintendo was the big rivalry in the games industry. So they're kind of reviving a lot of these old franchises right now. I'm really excited to see all of them play out, honestly.
so this is getting released on every platform. You got damn, even PS4. Hey, hey, for all you PS4, they ain't leaving you out, man. There, if you got a PS4 still. So it's that PS5, PS4, Nintendo Switch, Steam, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. And this is we're gonna have to wait a while. August 29th is the date for
That's
this.
not too bad.
Um,
It's
it,
one day after Metal Gear Solid.
yeah. You can pre-order it right now for 20. You can get it for 25.11 there.
That's
Um,
not bad.
yeah, that's a pretty good. Seems like a pretty good price for this game, depending on how long it is. I think it's a pretty decent price there. With that, and then also with this seems like more something I would get for the Switch. I'd probably get this for the more play on the go with this. What about you?
I tend to only buy games for the Switch if it's exclusive to the Switch. I think I just feel like, at least in the last couple of years, the Switch's performance has started to leave a little bit to be desired. So, like, even something like Bayonetta 3, which was exclusive to the Switch, had a bit some issues with like the frame rate and just kind of being able to handle everything going on screen. And this is a simpler game than that, so it might run it okay. But that's one reason I'm really excited for the Switch too, because I think that performance boost is going to be real nice. So if I can get it on like the Switch 2, then I might go for Switch. But if the Switch 2 hasn't come out at that point, then I'd probably just go with the PlayStation.
Yeah, the Switch 2 is not listed here as far as the things that you can play it on.
Right. They're
Yeah,
not officially saying any games coming to it yet, but I think once April rolls around, you'll start seeing that symbol or that logo on things.
yeah. So you got that. Okay. All right, let's move on to next one here. There's some other big announcement. Oh man, I know you're gonna love talking about this one. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. So Sonic, he's gonna do basically his own Mario Kart. Is that what we're doing here? Is he
There's
gonna?
actually been a few of these in the past. I forget what the names were, but I think there was two of them that were on like the PS3, Xbox 360. Um, I've never played any of them. I don't know how good they are as far as being a competitor to Mario Kart, but hey, Sonic loves to, you know, at least try to compete with
Yeah.
Mario, right? So, they're
So
gonna
I
do
mean,
what
you.
they're gonna do.
Oh, I was gonna say
Sorry,
you like Mario Kart though. You like Mario
I do like Mario Kart. I like Mario as
Kart.
part of it.
I mean, hey, you got another Mario type kart game right here with Sonic. Playing it. Uh,
I'll tell you the one thing that genuinely could get me more interested in this, and I'm not even being sarcastic, but the other racing Sonic games that they have had in the past have not
mhm.
just been Sonic. They've been like, it was like Sonic and Sega All Stars or something like that. So like you actually had like Jet Set Radio characters in the game, and you were pulling from other Sega properties. It wasn't just Sonic. So if this looks like, based on this trailer, it kind of looks like all Sonic. But if
Yeah.
this game turns out to have like, oh, here's Shinobi, here's the character from Shinobi, here's Yakuza, here's Jet Set Radio, here's Golden Axe, here's Crazy Taxi Car. If they did that, then I might be a little more interested if they explore other properties. But if this is just all Sonic, I could not care less.
Yeah. Oh, it looks kind of fun. I mean, like they're using the rings and going to different. So, like while you're racing, you go to like a Jurassic Park type world, and one with a
Sure.
giant sea creature and everything like that. Oh, that
I
looks
mean,
like.
it's harder sci-fi than the Jurassic World movies. I'll give it that.
So it's got that going for it. So I mean, that might be a little fun. I mean, is it gonna overtake Mario Kart? Probably hell no, it's not gonna overtake Mario Kart. But I mean, maybe
We
in the
know a
meet.
new Mario Kart's coming soon too, so it's gonna get crushed.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know. Maybe if you want to wait in the meantime there for this to come out for Mario Kart 2, maybe you get this. You got that. So this is coming
Just
out.
let Sonic be a DLC character in Mario Kart, and maybe they'll stop trying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, maybe they'll do that. Yeah, let him be like a DLC character there. It'd be funny if Sonic just kind of got out of his car and just started running. He's like, man, I don't need to go. What if I just got the car?
Every time someone I know sees something like this, that is their first question: is why does he even need a car?
Yeah. Didn't Flash? Didn't he have a car? He had like the Flash mobile or something, right?
I'm sure that did happen at some point.
Yeah. Or maybe I'm thinking about Spider Man. Maybe Spider Man. He had like his
He's
own
definitely had one, which I
Spider
mean,
Mobile.
he also wouldn't think he'd need, but
Yeah. Probably just to sell toys. Hey, like get the Spider Mobile. Yeah, get the Spider Mobile.
I think so.
So yes, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds there doesn't have a release date. It has a closed beta on February 21st, first there. Um,
Oh wow,
so you can sign up for that. You can sign up for the closed beta there, for it. But yeah, no official release date
I
yet.
could.
There's Digimon Storytime Stranger. There's this as well. Were you a Digimon guy? Digimon?
I was as a kid. I actually was. I actually preferred that to Pokemon when I was a kid. I don't know that this game looks like it'll be all that great. I have never played. I played one Digimon video game, and it was like a Smash Bros. Ripoff on like the GameCube, and I've never touched another one. So this is like a turn-based RPG more sort of thing. Um, it looks like two generations behind in visuals. So who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe it'll be better than I'm thinking, but it's not exactly like super impressive looking to me either. So I don't know.
Yeah, the sequence with the train looked a little early, like Nintendo. Looked like some with
Wait till
Nintendo
you
Wii.
see the characters up close because oof.
Yeah. So yeah, Digimon. I watched Digimon the show as a kid. I did kind of watch that a little bit. I didn't follow much of the lore like maybe I did with Pokemon as much, but I did
I
kind of.
always, as a kid, I thought it had a more interesting story than Pokemon. Just 'cause I feel like there were like story arcs and like people would die sometimes, and I don't know. As a kid, at least, it felt like there was a little more going on. But
Okay, so this is a little bit of close up of the character. Okay, it's a
I
little
mean, I
basic.
guess it's going for a hyper cartoony art style, which is fine. But yeah, it seems kind of generic. Like when this trailer first started, when I was watching the State of Play live, I genuinely thought it was going to be like just some generic kind of JRPG. I didn't even think it was Digimon because I was just like, oh, this looks like 40 other games I've seen trailers for in the last few years.
Mm, yeah. Okay, so it's like an RPG type game. No release date for it. 2025. From that little bit, I don't know. It doesn't look that exciting. That kind of appealing there. But you got that. Lost Soul aside. Now this was a game you were excited to talk about there. I know.
I'm curious about this one.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and play the trailer for this one here. All right.
This
Here we go.
game has been getting teasers and trailers for like 10 years. I think, or at least close to 10 years. So this is another Chinese developed game.
Okay.
I guess following in the footsteps of Black Myth Wukong now. Although this was like shown way earlier before Black Myth Wukong had its initial like reveal trailer a few years back. Like I said, like close to a decade, I think this has been getting shown off, and I believe it started as a single person's I like doing this by themselves as like a complete indie project. And then the like branch of PlayStation in China approached this person and was like, "Hey, we think this looks interesting. We're gonna give you some funding and let's get a team together and actually like help you make this." I couldn't for the life of me tell you what the story is here, but I can tell you that it is a definitely a hard hard Devil May Cry inspired action game. So it's one
Okay.
of those things where it's like, let me get my hands on it, let me play it a little bit. Does this feel good to play? Like, does this live up to that fast paced
That looks pretty
action?
cool of what he's doing right there. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, the visuals I think are great. I think visually this is pretty stunning. Honestly, I really like the look of this. It's a little Final Fantasy as well. The little Final Fantasy Devil May Cry mixed together with and then obviously with like a kind of an original Chinese spin on things.
So it's not
Um,
turn-based combat, it's just, yeah, free flowing?
Yeah, no, full on action, full third
Okay.
person character action game. Like there's longer gameplay videos of this you can look up. I watched one that was like 20 minutes the other day just to see a little bit more of it. And it's yeah, very Devil May Cry is the thing I get the most sense from it. And then a little Final Fantasy and some of like the character designs and
Yeah.
kind of the tech, but also fantasy look of things.
Yeah, I definitely see. Oh, that looks pretty cool, like, kind of a big, battle fight there. Hold on, let me show it, at the end there. Kinda looks like kinda like Black Myth Wukong had a little bit where you 2, titans fighting each other, okay. Boom, Godzilla versus Kong
There
type
you
thing, okay. There you
go.
go there.
There you go.
Uh, we also and this is coming out, May 30th. There's
Yeah, yeah. So I was surprised it got a release date just because, like I said, I feel like I've been hearing about this game for 10 years, and it kind of almost seemed like one of those things that was never going to come out. So good for this small team. At least I think it's still a small team, or at least this original, single guy that started it. Hopefully it turns out. Black Wukong was obviously very successful. Um, I mean, financially, it blew like everything else out of the water. And it does seem like there is an industry starting in China, like a AAA industry kind of building for the first time. And this will be, I guess, the second test to see like, hey, how does this come along? Do we see a level of consistency with the games? And if this turns out really good, I think that justifies people getting more and more excited about some of what these Chinese studios are doing.
Yeah. So it says right here, so this is IGN. So it said the main character, Kirsa, wields a
Okay.
shape-shifting weapon you can swap between, which changes your playstyle. And you have a dragon-like companion named Arena, who can summon abilities to support Kirsa. Like its inspiration, Lost Soul Aside emphasizes aerial dodging, precision timing, combos, and countering along with large-scale boss fights. Um, it says the game blends a sci-fi premise with a variety of contemporary aesthetics that fit into a campaign that takes you across multiple dimensions. Although it's tough to glean where the story is going based on its trailers. Binge describes Kirsten's journey as one of redemption and discovery. Okay. So that's pretty awesome. I mean, the combat looks pretty good. I mean, you saw that he shapeshift like he was riding like Silver Surfer, then he turned into Angel. That looked pretty nice. So okay. So that piques my interest there. May 30th. Okay, so we'll see there with that. Um, Next, we got a game like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. There you did not send me the trailer for this one, but I remember we discussed this trailer for this game back on another showcase, and I was really impressed by this. I really liked it. It looked really fun there. For this, yeah. Are you gonna maybe pick it up? I don't know. I haven't seen you play Yakuza before.
I feel like it's such a big series, and maybe this is a totally incorrect impression I have. So obviously, if somebody wants to comment on this video later, please tell me. But the Yakuza franchise, it seems like there's a lot going on to where I don't know. I can't help but feel like I need to go back and play like 7 or 8 other games to kind of get a feel for this world or what's going on with characters. And I could be wrong. It could totally maybe it is just like a jump in at any point kind of thing. Um, but I guess it's one of those series that I've like had maybe on the back burner where I've been like, I'll give it a shot at some point, but I'm gonna start with the first one and then work my way up.
Okay. No trailer for it. Just it got announced that they're gonna do a demo for it this week.
Hmm.
They're gonna do a demo for it.
Maybe I'll try the demo and see how that goes.
Dave the Diver, Ichiban's holiday DLC. So they have that going on.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
that
The
speaking about
Yakuza GLC for the indie game Dave the Diver.
yeah, so hey, if you want to do that, hey, they got that edition. Oh, that reminds me. So that I finally figured out what we supposed to do. So did you want to watch that TV show of Yakuza or what? Did you want to?
Oh, I forgot about it. I mean, I would. I would. I'm not like excited about it necessarily, but I would give it a watch.
Okay. I don't know if anybody it seemed like nobody's talking. I haven't heard anybody really talking about it, but I don't know.
The reviews were pretty mid. Like I don't people didn't seem to hate it or love it, and I feel like it kind of came and went, and it just didn't have a lot of I don't know cultural zeitgeist momentum.
Mm, yeah, so maybe it's not worth reviewing. Okay, maybe yeah. Maybe I'll just check it out for my own personal interest, maybe. So there's that. The Splitgate 2. This is Portal meets Halo like sequels rolling out an alpha demo later this month, February 27th. But you're not really into
If
those
you're
type.
into like online multiplayer, this might be really cool looking. It's like I'm really into my single player stuff. But hey, I mean, I'm sure there's an audience for it. You just have to try and wrestle people away from Marvel rivals to get them to play your game.
Yeah. Is this supposed to be free? Splitgate 2?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's a free to play or not.
Yeah, because I mean, if it's free to play, I mean, because you got to compete with Marvel Rivals, which is free to play. What
Exactly.
you kind of that going? Oh yeah, so it is free to play. Yeah,
Okay.
Splitgate 2 is free to play. Um, all right, there's that. I know you don't care about this at all. There's WWE 2K25, so that's coming out. Um, yeah, you're never gonna play that at
The
all
only
there.
way in which I might care is how hilariously bad the game could potentially be. Now, I've heard that they've gotten better with these, but I think it was either 2020 or 2021. One of these 2K WWE games came out, and it was so broken and so glitchy that I mean, the game did not work. Like the people that were fans of the franchise were pissed, and like the game was completely broken. Just and I mean, some of the visual glitches were very funny. Um, what's weird about this, I mean, this is kind of what they're showing here, is like they're trying to. Do you remember that like PlayStation Home thing that was on like the PS3 back in the day? The like
Mm,
virtual like hangout space. This is trying to do that. Like have
okay.
like a whole mode that's that. And I'm like, look, maybe there's something I don't get about it because I'm not into wrestling or these wrestling games in the first place. But are the people that are into them clamoring for like a PlayStation Home Life Space VR side mode? Is that what
Um,
wrestling fans are asking for?
So I mean, I think also with this look of it, it seems like it's trying to do like what Street Fighter did, like with its game. Also like if you play 2K, like 2K does that where it's like you get to shop around in like this virtual
Sure.
kind of place and do things like that. Because that's what they're trying to do with it, trying to expand it to that. I don't know if this is exactly what people want from these 2K WWE games. Um, I think the last one was it the last one people were complaining or the one before that?
It was either 20 or 21. I think
Okay.
it was yeah, it was either 2020 or 2021. And whichever one that was, it was like a disaster. Like Cyberpunk 2077 levels of like you could go watch glitch compilation videos on YouTube of just absurd things happening with the visuals and the game just breaking apart.
Yeah. The last one I think got decent reviews. I think people were impressed by it. This one, I mean, they release these yearly, so it's just like 2K, with NBA and everything, they release them yearly. So if you apply for a code and you got it, would you play it?
I mean, if they send me it for free, sure.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can get Sage WWE 2K25. Let's put that request in right there. Borderlands 4, they did a launch date trailer for this. So that they got that going on. Um,
Big shrug for me, honestly. I was never into those games, and even Borderlands fans seem to have been very disappointed by the third one, at least from what I hear. And then the move that was before the movie. So post movie, a disappointing game and the movie. I think you're gonna have a hard time even just pleasing fans of this franchise.
mm, yeah. I have never played a Borderlands game, so I don't really have anything really much to say about it with that. But this is coming out September 23rd is when that's coming out there. So this one you
Kill
want
them, Grand Theft Auto.
yeah. This one you want to talk about Split Fiction. Let me pull up
Yeah.
the trailer for that one here. With that game. So and find out why you wanted to discuss it here. Here we go.
Yeah, so this is Joseph Ferris's new game. He is the head of the studio that did It Takes Two, which was like the 2021 Game of the Year winner. Um, this I think this looks like a great kind of spiritual sequel to that. It's definitely like these are different characters in a different situation. The last time with It Takes Two, it was like a husband and wife that were divorcing that you play as. Here, it's two sisters who get kind of like sucked into their own pieces of writing. And like one of them does fantasy, one of them does sci-fi, and so you bounce. It's like Iron Man and Mega Man here. Uh, you have to dress up and play as those characters, but it is this focus on split screen co-op gaming, and this is why I like Joseph Ferris, why I like his studio. It Takes Two was so good. And this is a big reason why. But just focusing on making a game that is fun for two people that can sit on the same couch and play together. No buying two systems, no having to, have one hooked up to a TV in a different room of your house to play a game with each other. Like, no, sit on the couch. I'll pass you a second controller and we can actually play a game together. Not just like social media connection, sitting on the couch in real life, having a multiplayer connective experience. That's the kind of multiplayer that I actually really like. And we don't get a lot of that in the games industry anymore. And this studio is like single-handedly determined to drag the entire concept back into everybody's eyes.
This is coming out March 6th, so not that long before we get this.
Yeah.
So are you guys gonna be playing it on stream?
I don't know if we'll do it on stream or not. We probably could. I mean, it's going to be a day one for for me, and I'm going to play it with my partner. But I would probably have a yeah, I could probably do it on the stream as well. I'd be happy to do a review for it whenever I'm able to wrap it up.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So yeah, very interesting concept. Like I said, two people there with they one's into sci-fi, one's into fantasy. They get dragged into that, and they both have to solve different missions there regarding their both different interests. There, you saw in the trailer there, one's the riding a dragon sequence there, one in kind of a cyberpunk type world. So you kind of got that. So it looks, yeah, it looks good. Looks kind of interesting there. It Takes Two won Game of the Year when it was released. So
It did.
there's that.
Another really great thing about this game comes with a like friend pass. So it, like I was just saying, big appeal is that you can play it with someone sitting on the couch next to you. But if you do want to play it online, that option's in there. Of course, they don't get rid of that. That's totally included here as well. But even better is you buy this game and you want to play it with someone. Well, your friend doesn't actually have to buy it. There's literally a friend pass in this game that you can just send them an invite and they can literally just play the game for free with you because you already spent the money on it.
Yeah, that which is also really good. So that might also encourage people to get it. Hey, I can play it if go in there instead of two people both having to buy the game. Um,
It Takes Two did the same thing, which is yet another reason why that game was as popular as it was.
Also got something you didn't send me there, but Directive 8020
Mm.
there. Did you see this game? Did you check it out?
Yeah, I saw the trailer. So this is the next game in the Dark Pictures anthology from Supermassive Games. That is the studio that did Until Dawn and post Until Dawn. They did the Quarry, and then they've had this Dark Pictures anthology thing running where like each one is kind of like a different horror subgenre. Very much the same kind of style of game as Until Dawn with the quick time events and the decision making and the things could play out differently and different characters can get killed. Unfortunately, I don't think that in all of these games that they've done since Until Dawn, they've ever really managed to produce something that was all that. I won't say they aren't good at all, but I feel like they're just okay games at best, and at worst, some of them are kind of bad. This to me, it looks a bit generic. It looks like it's hey, we're trying to do Alien, we're trying to do the thing
Yeah.
a little bit, we're trying to do, and again, Until Dawn is definitely a mix of genres you're familiar with, but I think that game had a really creative spin on things, which is what I think has been missing from all the other things the studio's done since then. I think they just I don't know. It feels like a more imitation without its own unique spin or idea. And hey, maybe this one will change the game. Maybe this will be the one to kind of break that pattern. But so far, I don't know. So far, I've not really seen anything that makes me feel like it's really setting itself apart from any of the movies that it's
Damn.
kind of pulling from.
Yeah. The way she turned around, she was like the face. She's like, oh shit! Like what the fuck? Like,
Just the screaming before she sees the thing to scream at a little bit. So that's yeah, there's a jankiness to these games that I think like Until Dawn didn't have, and all these other ones have had some kind of wooden, facial animations for the characters, and some of the voice acting is just not quite up to par with like what Until Dawn was able to provide. But like I said, maybe this will be the one to totally change that pattern.
yeah. So this is coming out October 2nd. So hey, close to Halloween there. Play it for that horror time. Like you said, it does look like a mix of like, oh, it's Alien, The Thing, a lot of those type of movies. Um, I don't know exactly what the threat is here. Like you see one scene of one character like shooting himself, like another like copy of himself. So I guess this thing can
That's
replicate.
where it seems like the thing where it's just like it's like replicating people and copying them or imitating them, and I'm like, I've seen that before.
Yeah, and also another thing they carry over from a lot of these games, they get Hollywood movie actor talent to come and do it. Like, she's the only person I recognize. I don't recognize anyone else.
Yeah, and
Uh,
Until Dawn had a big cast, lots of people you recognize. Every other game they've done since then, I guess the Quarry had a few people you'd know, but each of the Dark Pictures game, there's only ever one person you'd recognize in each of them, and then the rest of the cast is unknowns. Not that that's inherently a bad thing, but you can tell they're like, all right, we can afford like one big name for each of these.
yeah. So Lashana Lynch, who people know, she was in the Bond film there. She was in. Captain
She's in that
Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, she was in that. So she's been in that. So yeah, Hollywood movie talent there. Yeah, I'm looking at the comments. Somebody said, so I'm guessing this is supposed to be the thing mixed with Event Horizon. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that.
And maybe they'll surprise me and have some cool twist on it that's new, but based on the other Dark Pictures games, I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah. This one I know you not really probably don't care about. Five Nights at Freddy's: Secret of the Mimic. Yeah.
Really, yeah, no, it's that's never been a franchise that I've found super interesting. Like, there's some kind of fun like backstory to it, but the games themselves have just, I feel like, always been very basic, and I don't know, just they don't feel like they have that much going on.
Yeah. Game that you did send me there, you say about the Midnight Walk. There, this
Yeah,
was a release
this
date
looks
trailer.
interesting.
Uh,
Cool art style. It's kind of like got this kind of Tim Burton-y claymation look. Almost like, like horror game for kids, like the Gremlins was a horror movie for kids back in the day. Looks like the kind of thing where it's like it's spooky, but it's maybe not like overtly scary. And yeah, I think the art style here is great. This is a game that's both going to be available on like just regular PlayStation, but also there's like a VR version of it. So I guess there's kind of two versions of this that'll be coming out. Um, it seems like more of a puzzle game than anything else. But yeah, I really like the art style here. I'd be curious to check this out. I believe it is coming out at the end of May as well, or maybe the
ye
beginning of May.
Yes, beginning of May, May 8th
Beginning
there,
of
and
May.
like you mentioned this Tim Burton kinda S style, this and the look of it already interests me there. I don't know, this is pretty creepy, man. This creeped me out more than, Directive, 80/20 there. That creeped me out more than that, with some of kinda what's going on here. So there's that. Yeah. So May, 8th there, 25, you mentioned, so it's just coming PlayStation, 5 and PlayStation VR, VR2. So if, yeah, you get that. So if you got the regular VR, that won't do. You need the VR2, with
I have the
this one.
VR too, but you can't play the VR1 games on the VR2. So
Okay, so at least say you got that going. Okay. But yeah, this looks really good. I think this and like Mouse PI as far as most interesting style of games I'm most interested in coming out. I think this one really takes the cake there, those two. So yeah, I really am interested. So it is a so it's a, first person shooter there with some clear stealth and puzzle elements. So you got that. All right there. And then also we got Darwin's Paradox there. That was a game that was also announced there. Um
is that the Octopus one?
yeah, that's the octopus game. Yeah. It's
Okay.
got
It
Darwin's
looks like it could be a fun, maybe family game. It wasn't like super striking necessarily to me, but hey, I'd rather get like an Octodad sequel personally.
this is a cute looking platformer from Konami, which is coming later this year. We got Warriors Abyss there. We got that one that they announced there. Um There's it's a
I
roguelike
think that
Destiny
was
Dynasty
um,
Warriors. Yeah.
yeah, I've never been super into the Dynasty Warriors thing, honestly, and this one looks kind of like a mobile game version of it, so even kind of less interested.
Now this is the big one. Onimusha 2.
Mm.
We got Way of the Sword there. So it introduced a this is a protagonist trailer that it kind of did there a little bit with this one. So let's take a look at this.
And there were two Onimusha announcements here. There's the remaster of the second game from the PS2 as like getting a remaster being available digitally, and then there's this whole brand new one, which is at least like a soft reboot for the franchise.
Yeah. Let me watch this trailer again because this trailer was good. It was pretty badass. And then after this, get into the Animusha 2 Samurai's Destiny. Get into that one. Yo, how's it going there, Lucky Dog Podcast, man? How's it going there? I've got the villains from
Let's see your
Pirates of the Caribbean in this.
best tonight. Swordplay is a game of strength. Winning is what matters.
And people said they were recognizing the actor. Have you seen the actor in anything before?
He's not striking me as particularly familiar, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, let me see. Let me look at him.
And you can bring as many friends as you want. Oh, good.
Very cool sword play.
Very good, yeah, very good swordplay, very good action there.
Very classical design.
What got them so riled up?
Now, as I understand it, the Onimusha franchise was back in the day on the PS2 was very much a hey, let's take the structure of Resident Evil, but make like a monster game with a sword instead of a gun. And that kind of gave birth to this series. Um, so I've never played an Onimusha game, so like this or and maybe I'll play the remaster of two. Maybe this will be the first one I get my hands on. We'll see what happens, but I'm very intrigued and curious to try it out and maybe go back and give some of the older games a shot as well.
Yeah. So this is we gotta wait till 2026. Yeah, we gotta wait
Yeah, this one's a little ways off.
a little ways off, and it's just coming to the PS5. Nothing else it seems like. So just the PS5. With that, but it looked very impressive. I mean, it looked very impressive for just like a kind of a announcement trail like that. Looked very good. And then you mentioned also the remake, or I guess what do you call it? Reboot, reimagined.
I'd
Um,
call this a remaster because they're just taking the game the way it is, just making it look a little nicer, but not really changing anything.
Okay, so this is Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny there. And I remember playing the Onimusha game on the PlayStation. I do remember that when that came out. So I do remember playing this game on the PlayStation 2 when it came out. I think it's considered one of the best PlayStation 2 games of all time. I think Onimusha is.
Somehow
But
I missed it.
yeah, yeah. But hey, man, it's not gonna miss you this time because they're gonna do a remake just for you, man. They're gonna come out just with
There
you,
you go.
just for you, and it's gonna be coming out. And this game, let's see when the release date for it is. There is May
This one I
23rd.
think is soon. Oh yeah. So not just a couple months.
And you can get it. It says here PlayStation 4. Is this
I mean, it makes sense. It's a PS2 game. I feel like it should be able to run on the PS4.
yeah, PS4 there? So you got that. So hey, if again, hey, you PlayStation 4 people, hey, still got some games for you. Hey, Shinobi,
Still got stuff
this.
coming out.
Hey, maybe you still good to hold on to that PS4 just for another year, before you cross over. All right. Let me move on to the next one here. Also, another big one was the release date for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, but you already said it got leaked already.
And
Before
it
the
wasn't just that it was leaked by Konami. Like their
mm,
own YouTube page posted it on accident and then left it up for like a while.
yeah. But a lot of it's just kind of pretty much some of the similar stuff we've seen in the other trailers before. Nothing kind of big there. Yeah. Anything you wanted to say about this? Yeah. And the release date for this is August 28th. There.
August 28th. Yeah, super pretty soon. I mean, it's, a little few months away for sure, but it is this year. It is this summer. I mean, I couldn't be more excited. We did a retro review for it, and I glazed with this game nonstop the whole time. Yeah, I'm very, very pumped. I don't know how much new I have to say other than maybe we get a few new shots of some of the cinematics and like some of the boss enemies here that are really cool to see. And it does remind me just how like Metal Gear can go from with these very serious, very complicated, like geopolitical premises, and then there'll be like a dude made of bees that shoots bees at you. It's like go from the very serious to very goofy, and
Who is
that's
that
what
right
I love
there?
about it. With the fire,
Yeah.
that is the Fury. He's one of the Cobra unit bosses that you fight across the game. There's
Okay.
the pain, the fury, the end, sorrow, and I think one of the boss's other nicknames is the Joy. So I think that's the five members.
And then who's this one?
That's the sorrow. He's just a straight up ghost.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then of course there's the Situation, who started the Jersey Shore series.
Yeah. I mean, this game is like you said, mentioned before in the retro review, is famous for its boss battles. There, it is very famous for its boss battles.
Really wonderful boss battles.
This looks like an exciting sequence here. Riding there looks like. I hope you get to play that
Yeah,
on the motorcycle.
you do. That's like a whole big long sequence where the Ava character is driving and you are in like the sidecar. So you get to play. You're not driving, but you get to play in the sidecar with like the big turret gun for that whole sequence. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Really particularly impressive back on the PS2. It was like a really big, kind of high scale sequence that maybe you didn't see so much of at the time outside of like, big, well thought out AAA games.
Yeah. So August 28th. There it's gonna be coming out. Another game you wanted to discuss is Hell is Us. There, which this is a release date trailer. Why'd you want to discuss Hell is Us?
So this is interesting. This is one of those kind of, I feel like it's going to be like a sleeper hit sort of game. And one of those people maybe aren't paying a ton of attention to, but it looks like it has a very interesting, in some ways, almost Death Stranding or Metal Gear-esque combination of like kind of seedy military, but with like eldritch supernatural horror mixed in. And I'm having a little bit of a hard time kind of nailing down, I think, exactly what's going on with the story. But especially as they show more of the creatures in the second half of the trailer, there's just some really interesting art design going on here. And it's also like a bit of a like melee
Damn,
based
they
like
got Winston Churchill in
engagement
this
to
game. Damn.
it. Churchill Harkonnen, I think, is his name. Uh,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
uh, but yeah, there's just some cool imagery going on here. There's some of these character designs are just like, oh, that's all kind of disturbing looking almost, or just weird. And some of these monsters are just interesting. I'm digging like the environments and kind of like I said, almost kind of Metal Gear like sci-fi military tech. And then
Yeah.
like so yeah, it's very trippy when it gets to the supernatural stuff. I don't know exactly what's going on, but it looks interesting. It's intriguing, and it's a we'll see how it goes sort of thing.
Yeah, I remember we talked about the trailer for this at another showcase there for it. This is September 4th. This is just also a, PlayStation exclusive here, PlayStation 5 that you got there. And so Deus Ex, so it says here, it's kind of a sci-fi game there, kind of like Deus Ex. That's kind of going on. It's kind of an adventure game as well. I mean, the visuals kind of got me interested in here. Some of the kind of story of it has me interested. What's kind of going on? You mentioned very seems like very Metal Gear S type stuff like that, Hideo Kojima. Um, so that seems kind of interesting there with that. So we'll see what's kind of all about there. All right, another game you were interested to discuss is Lies of P.
Hmm.
There, Overture. What about this
So I
game?
still have yet to actually play the main game of Lies of P. It's on my list. I really want to. Maybe hopefully soon, and maybe to try and catch up before the DLC comes out. But I mean, I think that the original game looked really great. Heard a lot of really great things. Still looking forward to playing it. But this looks like a great extension of that. It looks like it's a pretty sizable DLC as well. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is supposed to be taking place before the main game. So it's like almost like a little bit of a prequel story. Um, so not having played the main game yet, I maybe don't have as much insight as I could. But it's something just again, just like with the main game, I think it's just got such a great visual style. It's like Bloodborne horror aesthetic being applied to like fairy tale Pinocchio fantasy world. It's just a really interesting set of aesthetics and world design, and I love the way the weapons look and the enemy types and the boss battles here. I've heard a lot of people say that Lies of P is maybe the best kind of Souls style game that's not made by From Software themselves, like one of the best kind of imitators that's been done so far.
Okay. So yeah, this is an expansion for this game,
Yeah,
Lies of P,
it's an expansion.
which came out in 2023, the Lies of P game. So hey, maybe it'll be up for
Yeah,
game of the year.
it
Um,
could be. Apparently,
and
that's an option now. So
so it's got that kind of going for it. Okay, so okay, got that. All right, Lies of P there. Then there's another game here I'm interested for you to talk about is Dreams of Another. Let
Hmm.
me pull up the trailer for this. Dreams of Another. Why are you interested in Dreams of
So this is very much the kind of just weird experimental indie game stuff that I love to see. This is a game where it's like a third person shooter, but you are in a world that doesn't exist, that is just like free floating pixels, and you have to like shoot the pixels around you to like cause the world to like birth itself into existing. And it sounds like it isn't always the same thing, or like there's ways of like manipulating the environment and changing what the pixels are going to turn into. I don't know if that's based on using different weapons or angles or how exactly that's going to work, but the premise I think is very interesting. Having this like world that you are, it's a shooter where you are not destroying but creating, um, and you get to slap clowns. So I mean, what's not to like?
The description for this is somebody said, "Somehow I imagine this is what Hideo Kojima's dreams look like."
That's a great, yeah, that's great.
Glimpses with violent interruptions. Konami Hideo Kojima isn't involved in this game, but it still looks worth checking out as it seems quite imaginative. Okay, I do give it that. It does look very imaginative there. This is
I'm
the
all
yeah.
into just weird experimental stuff like that. If you can catch my attention with like a game mechanic I've never seen before, I'm at least intrigued by it.
Hmm, okay. And this, and let's see if there's a release date here for this. No, it just says
I
no,
believe it's just coming soon.
just coming soon for it. Okay, just coming soon. And hey, VR too.
There
Um,
you go.
I've never been into the VR. I've never gotten the VR thing. I'm like, nah, I'm all
I
right.
haven't either.
Yeah.
For me to get more into it, there'd have to be games made for it that I can only play there that don't feel like gimmicks, because that's the problem. Is a lot of VR games feel gimmicky. Half-Life Alyx is like the only one that seems like a fully fledged game that like completely takes advantage of VR as a gaming system.
Mm.
Um, but I need more than just one game for me to care to like invest in something like that, you know?
There's Days Gone remastered. That also was announced there. Does that have the actor from Star Wars in it? The one
I'm
that was
actually, I never played that game. I'm not sure.
the guy. What's his name? Sam Whitmer.
Uh, I mean, he's been in a few games. He was in that Callisto Protocol game. I don't know if he's in this one.
Okay. Let me see really quick. I think it is him. Yeah, it is him. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Days Gone. You're not interested in Days Gone? It's a remaster there.
I mean, it's a remaster of a game that came out not that long ago, and I also just didn't think it seemed like all that interesting of a game. It's like it's the ability to have a lot of zombies on screen at once is kind of cool, but the character seemed kind of boring. The world seemed kind of bland. It just kind of seemed like yet another zombie thing, but without
Yeah.
like an interesting kind of unique spin on it. Other than hey, look how big of the hordes that we can have on screen are. Seemed like
Yeah.
really all that it had going for it to me.
Yeah, this game came out in 2019, so it wasn't that long ago that this game came out there. It's released for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro there. Okay. Yeah.
And maybe you can
Uh,
have more zombies on screen in the remaster because of the
yeah.
PS5. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe they'll look more zombie-esque there with the remaster. There, you got that. Yeah. That guy running there. He running for his life. Yeah, I mean, you got to run faster than that, man. Dang, you got that whole kind of horde coming at him there. Yeah, you got to run faster than that.
Oh yeah,
Um,
they're gonna get you.
is there multiplayer with this? Seems like a game with multiplayer. It should have multiplayer.
I think it's just a single player game.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. Maybe there is, but I thought it was just a pure single player.
So the remaster launches on April 25th is when it's going to be coming out. Uh, I know you're excited about this. Stellar Blade DLC finally hitting. And it's going to be coming, man. Here, so it
It
says,
keeps getting more DLC. This is like the third or fourth DLC that they've done. So
"Hey, man, you doubted the Gooners, and
I,
they have shown you, man, that it's no joke."
they
Uh,
they put their money where their goon is.
Goddess of Victory here. You got if you're it says if you're up for looking pretty and slashing weird monsters, celebrates getting a PC release and an expansion this June. Yeah, you only
Well, the
just played
PC
the
players can do.
yeah, they can goon too, man. Um, And you just played the demo, right? You just played the demo.
Yeah, I just played the demo. I mean, I thought the combat mechanics actually were pretty good. I liked the way that combat felt to play. I just didn't think the world or the characters were that interesting. But it's a game I might play if I saw it like on like a really good sale. I might pick it up and play
Like
the whole thing. Um,
$30, $40,
yeah, I'm gonna say 20 for that one.
20. Okay. All right, $20. Yeah, Goonin is not that.
And that's not to slight the game even. I don't know, like the characters didn't seem to have a lot of personality and the world seemed kind of basic to me. So, it had some positives though too. Like that's not to say it looked bad. I felt like it seemed like an all right action game that if I see it on sale, maybe I'll check it out.
Okay. There's also Lost Records, Bloom, and Rage Tape 1.
Yeah,
There's that.
it's another one of those kind of very like Life is Strange kind of
Yeah.
like tween drama games that I don't know. It's definitely not for me at least.
There was also another game, Blueprints. There was that a puzzle game. Can I get that? Do
Didn't inspire me specifically, but
Abiotic Factor. There was it says this was a
it's like
huge hit.
another online shooter.
Yeah, this is a huge hit on Steam. A co-op survival game that gives me some Half-Life vibes. This person says with strange creatures and scientific endeavors that hopefully won't doom us all. So there's that. Let me
Well,
see.
I mean, it's got an audience for sure. I definitely know this is a game I saw and I was like, for me personally, but
Okay. Let's see a little bit of it here. So this is just announcing it's going to be coming to the console instead of Steam there. So
okay.
this just has that there. Okay. Hmm. Okay. All right. Pretty basic looking kind of game. All right.
That's how I
So we got that. Let's see some other stuff here. They announced also a classics catalog is going to be coming soon to PlayStation Plus there.
It's
Armored
more old
Core.
school stuff.
Yeah, Armored Core Project Phantasma, Armored Core Masters of Arena, Patapon 3. So you gotta got that going on. Do you ever play any retro games like that there much? Besides I know the Star Wars Phantom Menace there.
I mean, I definitely play retro games. I was even thinking about popping in Devil May Cry 3 again because it's 20th anniversary. But yeah, I play retro games all the time. I always am hoping that they'll add more and more to the store. I think especially the PlayStation 2 just had this just massive catalog of games that are, $500-600 to get an original copy of secondhand online nowadays. That a lot of like Japanese horror games for like stuff like Clock Tower, Parasite Eve, which I think that was more Nintendo. But still, there's a lot of kind of classic stuff that I feel like they could still. I would like for them to pick up the pace actually a little bit with some of those classic retro stuff.
Alright. This is a game there. So there was two trailers. So there was like an announcement trailer and then more of a gameplay trailer for this. Tides of Annihilation. So
Yeah. They showed a trailer at the show, and then they had like a longer like gameplay demo the next day.
yeah. Tell me about this one.
From this one was the show stealer of the whole thing for me. I think this looks absolutely just super freaking cool. So this is another, maybe there's a little Devil May Cry inspiration in it. Third person character action game. Although this, I think I see more God of War DNA in it.
Okay.
But that character right there that walks up and picks up the sword, that is Gwendolyn from like Arthurian mythology.
She kind of looks a little
You
bit like
fight.
a young Kate Blanchett, kind of.
I can see that. Which honestly, it would have been a great casting for like a King Arthur mythology movie, honestly. But this is like a God of War epic fantasy take on like King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table type stuff. You're even fighting this like blonde witch character. You see a little footage fighting is even supposed to be like a version of the Mordred boy sorcerer character that's pretty famous from that. I think that just the aesthetic of this looks awesome. I think the combat looks awesome. You're like summoning different knights of the round table is like combat mechanics here. That's what all those like glowing like knights are you're seeing. Yeah, I just the style of this is great. I think the gameplay looks really fast paced and cool. Again, Devil May Cry, God of War, Bayonetta type action game, and this is also actually a Chinese developed game.
Mm.
So it seems like China's really hitting it with these like character focused action games lately. And all the more power to them because I love this style of game. You know, give me more Devil May Cries, give me more God of Wars. If you can do stuff that has is in that genre, but sets aside its own unique identity, I'm all for it. It's one of my favorite
Ooh,
styles of games you can do. Um,
cool
this,
action
yeah, this
sequence.
just I think, yeah, that looks great. Their use of magic, some of the costumes, also has a little bit of that like kind of maybe Final Fantasy influence too. It's the way like some of the spells and magic is kind of visualized. Um, but yeah, I'm digging this. I think this looks super unique. I really like the world, this like King Arthur mythology in like a post-apocalyptic London. And then yeah, just yeah, having these kind of wild takes on these characters. There's a couple pretty cool action scenes in this demo here. You get a little bit deeper look at the combat. Apparently,
Where you want me to
this
stop
game
at? A
is
little bit right
you
here.
can do a little bit of this here. It gives you kind of an idea of like what fighting like regular enemies looks like. And like the way you're summoning like the different knights to kind of do different moves for you.
That
Um,
hand reminds me of like Devil May Cry 4, like a little bit of that.
very yeah, like the Devil Bringer, 100% it does. Um, and then I think like King Arthur mythology is something I don't think I've ever seen that tapped in, like for a video game premise before. So like that also is just different. Just like Black Myth Wukong is like, well, hey, nobody's done the Monkey King. It's like a big video game, really. I don't think anybody's done like any King Arthur stuff as like a big video game yet. So totally kind of a different setting to pull from, different characters to pull from than we've ever seen before. Um, and yeah, I mean, this looks super polished. Apparently, sometime at like a convention or some game show last year, they did some kind of demonstration behind closed doors, and a bunch of people got to do like interviews, but they weren't allowed to release those interviews until now when this reveal happened. And then this footage we're seeing is like the beta for the game. So it's pretty far along in development, but I believe it does have a 2026 date attached to it. Um, so it's going to be another one where we're maybe going to be waiting a little bit for it. If you go a little further in the trailer, there's a scene where you're doing some. It almost kind of reminded me of like Doctor Strange a little bit, where they're like running up the side of like a building that's like clearly like space and time is like shifting and kind of taking on different properties during an action scene, and that's a really impressive visual as well.
Mm, okay, yeah. You think this was pretty much the show? Is that the general consensus? This was the show stealer there.
I don't know if it was for everybody, but for me, it was. It's just it's had such a great sense of style, and I mean, there's like that Last Soul Side game is also kind of in the same genre, but I guess this one, I don't know, maybe it's because it's King Arthur stuff, and I think that mythology is particularly cool, and I guess I just don't feel like I've seen this done before. It kind of extra spoke to me.
This game, Metal Eden, that's out. It's music and stylish action complete with wall running, first person shooting. There, it's coming out May 6th. This looks pretty cool. Metal Eden there. Did you see this game there?
Yeah, I saw the trailer for it. It has an interesting style to it, but I think it comes down to I think it's also like an online multiplayer shooter.
Oh, that's
So
it.
even though I do agree that the aesthetic, and I think that's what it is, I could be wrong. Maybe I was incorrect about that, but it looks like it had some multiplayer stuff going on. If I'm mistaken about that, that's my bad. But the aesthetic is cool. So if this turns out to be single player, then I would be more interested in it.
Kind of looks Doom esque. Got some Doom kind of stuff kind of going on here.
Yeah, I think it's got a bit of that
Yeah. Okay.
kind of
Um.
fast pace.
mm, yeah. I could see. Yeah. Very Doom esque stuff kind of going on here. Very fast paced the action here. With that. Let me see if it is there. If it is just multiplayer, or can you actually do it? Can you play single player with it?
That'll
Article.
change my whole perspective on it.
Yeah. Let me see here. Do 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 do. Mm, I don't see it mentioning anything about what kind of format there it is, but yeah. But it looks interesting there. Looks like an interesting game. May 6th. Okay. Looks like it could be kind of something fun.
Keep an
Yeah.
eye on it, see how it goes.
Yeah. All right. Another one was Mind's Eye. You got that one, action adventure game about AI and human greed destroying society. There's
This
directed by
seemed like the one they wanted to really showcase and probably put the most time into out of everything they showed. But I'll be honest, it looked kind of generic to me. I wasn't really seeing any hype behind this one, at least for me personally. I didn't really get a ton out of it. It feels like, wants to be kind of like it looks a little GTA-ish in certain shots, but it seems like it wants to be maybe like a more dramatic, like sci-fi thing. And I don't know. I guess I just didn't feel like there was a whole lot of personality coming out of
yeah. Well, he's blowing up some Teslas right there. You saw he blew up a Cybertruck. You got
it.
that going for you. I mean, this is from the president of Rockstar there, this game. So that's kind of why it kind of feels a little GTA-esque there. Maybe there's
Sure.
that. Mixed with a little bit of Cyberpunk 2077 that you kind of got going on there as well. This is directed by Leslie Benez, yeah, the former president of Rockstar North. So it has that
Hmm.
going for it. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really tell you seems like a whole lot. It's just kinda like a lot of action kinda going on, and it's summer 2025 is with this game,
Yeah.
summer 2025 with that there. Um, and this was another game here. Is it Saros or Soros or
I think it's Saros, but I could be wrong. I don't think I heard them pronounce it.
okay.
But this was the last thing they showed, and this was another pretty big one. This is from Housemark. That is the studio that did the game Returnal, which I was a huge fan of. That's actually one of the first games I streamed on Twitch when I first started doing it. I totally fell in love with that game. Uh, very could be brutally difficult at times, but like a Dark Souls type thing. I found it very, very rewarding. And this is not a direct sequel, like it's not continuing the world, it's not the same character from Returnal, but it is kind of a sequel in many ways because it is a roguelike, it is a bullet hell third person shooter, and it is a sci-fi story about someone trapped on a world that is stuck in a literal time loop. And it will be a roguelike where you keep going back and playing in loops and then getting your character to be stronger.
Is that
Only this
the
one,
actor from, the, Mike Flanagan shows?
yes, it is.
Okay.
Raul Kali. He was also he was the morgue attendant in iZombie, and yeah, he's been in several of the Mike Flanagan series on Netflix. Really, I really enjoy him in general as an actor whenever he pops up and stuff. I think he's really good. I know he's a huge gamer. He's even been at like some of these gaming conventions as like a host sometimes. So I'm sure for him this is super exciting to get to be in this game. And I mean, yeah, how cool does that creature design look, right? But yeah, I mean, it feels like a sequel to Returnal in a lot of ways. It's just not a literal sense. Now this is only an announcement teaser. That's a CGI video. There's no gameplay. There's no in-game footage here. But this studio has a great track record. And their last game I thought was like kind of like their first masterpiece game that the studio's done. So it's another one that's a little ways off. I can't wait to see more though. So it was a great way to end the show, I thought.
2026, we gotta wait a little minute for this game. It says Soros is an action game with the haunting story of a lost world colony of Karas under a ominous eclipse. You play as Arjun Devaraj, a powerful solitary enforcer who will stop at nothing to find who he is looking for. Our goal is to create an emotional and powerful character study that explores the cost it takes to create a new future. Um, yeah, and then, yeah, mentions Raul, Kali there, who people might know, Midnight Mass, The Fall of House Usher, iZombie, as you mentioned there. I think iZombie was the very first thing I ever saw him in was iZombie.
Yeah, that's the first thing I think I saw him in.
Yeah, so we'll see there. I haven't played Return. I heard Returnal is hard as hell. I heard that game is hard.
It's pretty difficult. I've known at least two people that I know that have beaten like every Dark Souls game or in like Elden Ring and like played all of those. At least two people I know that beat all of those gave up on Returnal or at least got like hit a wall and got stuck and just did not keep going because they felt like it was so difficult. Um, You can watch videos of me beating the game. I've got a full like playthrough on my channel, and it was hard too. Like it's not like I had an easy time of it. Like, but it's a roguelike, right? You die, you go back to the beginning. You get upgrades, get stronger. You progress and you improve what stuff you got working with. Now I will say Returnal there's more stuff that resets than some other roguelites where there are permanent upgrades in Returnal, but you don't find them very often. So a lot of it is you get the right set of things on the right run of levels, and you get strong enough as you play. There's a lot of risk reward mechanics and buffs and debuffs and things that can kind of you know really mess up a run. But yeah, I loved it. I played all the way through it. There's some intense boss battles in that game. Um, Especially like closer, like further on later in the end of it, there are some brutal boss battles. But man, it was rewarding. I can't wait for this next one, this next thing that they're doing. They to me this is actually still one of the best games in I think the entire like PS5 generation so far. It's like one of the true big hey, it's actually exclusive purely to the next gen system, and it really takes advantage of the hardware, and it really, to me, delivered on a unique experience. I felt like I hadn't had in a game before. So
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen people, yeah, break down when they beat a boss. I've seen that. Chris Herman there, I've seen him. I think he just rage quit. I think he just quit the game. He didn't go back.
yeah, yeah. I offered to them directly to because they did add a like two-player mode a little bit later on, and I've never gone back to try that, so I don't know how much easier that makes the game. I played it back before they'd added kind of any of those updates that maybe would help it along, or maybe make it slightly easier. So I don't, but or maybe it's harder because the enemies maybe they get harder because there's two players. I don't know. That's something I'd have to go back and check out. But I adored this game, honestly. I really, really adored it.
Yeah, I see him playing it. Yeah, he had 2 streams, and that was it. That's
I
all he had
wonder if
to.
he made it past the first world, even to be honest, because even the first boss is hard. But I mean, there's like six worlds and like five, I think, big bosses in the game that are they're hard. They're not, although I will say, and I get bragging rights, and there's video evidence of this happening. But I beat the yeah, there's five major bosses, and I beat the fourth and fifth one. So the last two, I beat both of them on my first try.
Mm,
So
okay, nice. Yeah, so that game is punishing. So maybe we're gonna expect something similar to this game.
I
Maybe.
do think it'll be hard, although from what I've read, it sounds like it might be a little easier because it sounds like, whereas like Returnal, it's like I think each boss you beat, there's like a permanent upgrade you get that makes your character a little more powerful. But a lot of the upgrades are temporary that you lose when you die, right? Like you're playing the level, you're getting stronger, you find an upgrades, you die, you lose it all, you gotta kind of start over. And it's kind of gambling as to what upgrades you're going to find each time you go through. Whereas with this game, one of the things that I did read about it is that there's going to be more permanent upgrades. So maybe slightly closer to like Hades, where every time you die in Hades, you are getting a permanent upgrade and you are getting a little stronger, which will make the next run slightly easier. So like every time you die, it's getting a little easier the more time you're putting in. Returnal didn't like it kind of remained difficult kind of the whole time. Whereas I think this game is maybe going to make it just a little easier by giving you more of that permanent upgrade, kind of empowering your character a little more often.
Mm, okay, so we'll see. So that was the biggest trailers there from State of Play there.